When I started working at Liferay, somebody explained to me how this portal thing worked. He told me that I had to create my application or my components using JavaScript to call them from a JSP. And this, if I was lucky enough to not be playing with some tag leaf, because in that case, I will probably need to touch some Java code or some TLD or BND files. And to, in the end, having my application running as a portlet in a page of a site in DXP. OK, this will all end in cheers. That was more or less what I thought at the moment. I'm a front-end guy, and most of this just sound Greek to me. But OK, nowadays, 4.5 years after that, I have to admit it. I'm still lost. No, I'm just kidding. I learned a lot, and now I almost know what I'm doing while I'm dealing with these technologies. But I'm still not 100% comfortable or confident working with this. As I said, I'm a front-end developer, and I'm used to my JavaScript stuff, the NPM packages, the geoman generators, and all that front-end ecosystem we are used to and we all love. And I'm pretty sure that most of the front-end developers here today have shared the same experience at some point. But imagine that you can create your application using your favorite framework, React, Vue, Angular, a vanilla JavaScript application, and just transform it automatically into something that DXP will be able to understand and will be able to work with. That sounds pretty crazy, right? Well, it is crazy, but it's actually one of the things that the Liferay js-toolkit provides. And that's why we are here today, to talk about these features and to learn how to use them. Before getting started, I'd just like to mention that all the documentation is on our developer network. And also, I'd like to thank Ivan Zaira and Michael Williams, because they are the main responsibles of all this work. So thank you, guys. Well, let's move on. Picture this. Year 2019, but in December. Humankind have spread all over the galaxy. We have colonized a lot of planets, and now we are aware that we are not alone in the universe. People don't use cars anymore. They have spaceships to move between all our planets. And Rodolfo and I, we are the front-end developers of one of the most important spaceship producer companies on Earth. Today we are playing zero-gravity football in our office's game room, just a regular day, when the boss appears. Hey guys, he says, I need you to create a new application for our website. This application needs to show a picture of a spaceship with the name of the ship and a caption. And we need to place some dots over the picture that when you hover over them, an extra information about that piece, that part of the ship, or whatever we want to highlight, that is shown up. OK, boss, no problem. Sounds more or less easy to do. So we finish our game, and we go back to work. How should we do this? We should use Vue, maybe React. Are you feeling wild today? Should we go with Angular?
Nah, React is fine.
OK, React then. So we create the project with create React app. Just in a while, we have it running. This is the application. As you can see, just a React component. The entry point, we are calling the spaceship component, passing some data. Nothing special, just a React component, right? If we run it, as you can see, we have what our boss wanted. The picture of the ship with the name, a caption, and when we hover over this dot, places over some pieces of the ship, this extra information appears. So, OK, mission accomplished. Well, we show this to our boss. He looks happy, but hey guys, he says, this looks pretty amazing, but this is not DXP.
DX what?
DXP, the Liferay thing.
Okay.
No, boss, this is not DXP. We made this using React, but if we need this to work in DXP, we don't know how to do it. I mean, I think we should probably create a new OGI module, some MVC portlet, whatever class, copy everything inside, a GSP, a lot of things we know nothing about, actually. Not my problem, guys, but we need this to be working inside DXP. OK, we have a problem, Rodolfo. Well, no problem at all. Here's where the Liferay js-toolkit comes to the rescue. One of the features the toolkit provides is the adapt one. With this feature, we can create an application using one of the most standard tools for the most used frameworks right now, like React App for React, Angular CLI for Angular, or Vue CLI for Vue, and have it running in DXP without having to worry about anything else. So it looks like it fits with our needs. Let's see how we do this. First of all, we need to install the generator the Liferay js-toolkit provides. We do it using our favorite package manager, npm, yarn, whatever. And once it's installed, we go to our projects folder and run the generator, calling the subtarget adapt. Now we will be prompted some things like in which category we want to list our application inside DXP. If we have a local development installation of Liferay, and if we do, where is located? What is the path? So we answer, and the generator starts working. It will create new files, adapt other ones, installing some dependencies, and in the end, we will have our project totally adapt, and we will have available 2 new tasks. First one, it's build Liferay. This one will compile and package all our project into a jar file. A jar file that we can throw to any Liferay installation. It will work. And deploy Liferay will first run a build to create this package, to this jar. And then it will automatically deploy it to the installation we specified during the adapt process. So that's it. No tricks. We need to know to do anything else. If we run deploy Liferay, we can go now to our DXP site, go to the page we want to edit it, go to the widgets list, search for spaceship, that is the name of our component, drag and drop it to the page, and that's it. Now we can change a little bit the look and feel of the container just to make it look even better. We publish the page, and it's done. We have our component running inside DXP, running what? A command? Pretty amazing, right? In the same way we did this for React, we can also, as I said, do it for other frameworks like Angular. This is exactly the same application, but created with Angular. As you can see, we have the HTML. We are calling the component app spaceship, passing some data, defining app component, exactly the same. And following the same steps we have followed for the React application, we will accomplish exactly the same result. So that's it. Well, but the boss strikes again. Now he comes and he says, OK, guys, this is the application, but what is this ship? This ship is not even in our catalog. We need to show one of our catalog spaceships. But boss, where do we have that information? We are walking outside everything. We don't have that info. It's on DXP. OK, it's on DXP, right? Like everything. So how can I accomplish this? Because we are working outside DXP, outside the portal, but the information is inside DXP. If you attended to the previous talk with Javi and Pablo, you already know the answer. And if you don't, you probably know it too, because it's easy to find out. The answer is API. DXP provides an awesome API system. We have support for REST API. And since 7.2, we have also support for GraphQL APIs. So now that we have this cool feature, let's use it. First, we need to know about the structure of this data. This is the schema. We have this spaceship part structure with just a description. and the spaceship structure with the picture, the description, and a list of parts that will be linked with the other structure content. And each part will have an X and a Y field that we will use as a coordinates to place the dots over the image in the correct place. So now we know that we have to use APIs. We know the structure. Let's use it. This is our query. We're using GraphQL, and we are querying for a structure content by key specifying a content key. And we are receiving all the data we need, the title, the name of the ship, the description, the picture, everything. Okay. Also, we are using Apollo to manage all these GraphQL queries. It's worth mentioning it because this is a third-party library that works pretty well with React. Actually, it provides a hook to work in that we can use in function components. But it's important because when we build our application and we deploy it to DXP, it will be packaged together the rest of the application and will be deployed exactly in the same way. So we will have it running outside and inside DXP without having to worry about anything else. And I think it's a pretty cool feature. So we have it. We have this. We have replaced the old data with the one we received. And now we can deploy it to DXP. And now we are showing one of our cool spaceship models, the Milano or last script proof model. So that's it. We can show this to the boss and see what happened. But first, I like to recap a little bit what we have so far. We created an application using Create React App, Angular CLI, or Vue CLI, and using only front-end tools, we have built and deployed the application to DXP in a fast and an easy way. If it doesn't deserve an applause, I don't know what else I can say. But the boss strikes again. He needs more. OK, he says that it's OK, it's awesome, the application is running perfectly, but we are showing the same ship over and over again. That we need to be able to configure what ship we want to show. And that probably we will need to place the same application more than once in the same page. So we need to deal with this. And also, he reminds us that we are a multinational company working internationally, and that we made this application in English, but we need it also in Spanish, in Italian, in German, in French, Brazilian, a lot of languages. So another thing to deal with. OK, Adapt can help us with this. Adapt does this, what we just saw. But please, don't panic. We have other options. The Liferay js-toolkit provides other awesome features, and that's what Rodolfo is going to talk about.
Thank you, Carlos. So if we need more features like localization and configuration, which DXP offers out of the box, we can still use the Liferay JS generator, which can create from scratch React, Angular, Vue, and vanilla JavaScript projects ready to be built and deployed to Liferay. So let's create a new project. The same we had with Adapt. We need to install the generator first. Then we run it, and we'll be prompted with some questions like, what type of project do we want to create? We select React widget, in this case. We also provide the name and description for our project. And we also need to choose if we want support for localization and configuration. Spoiler alert, we do. So once the project is created, we will have a build and deploy task ready to be used. So this is the index.js file that was auto-generated for us. And this is the entry point of our project. It has a main function, which we can do whatever we want inside it. And we also receive an object with some properties that we'll be using later. But before we add our changes to the project, let's see what happens with it once we build it. So our project is built with Liferay npm bundler, which is like the Webpack bundler, for example, but it performs some unique tasks that makes our project run correctly on DXP. So here we have our index.js file, and suppose we added these 2 React dependencies. And as we can see, as we can have multiple widgets using different versions of the React dependency, for example, the bundler will isolate our dependencies by appending a namespace prefix to it, as we can see on the top right here on our node modules folder. It will also replace all the reference to those dependencies on our JavaScript files, as we can see here on the bottom on this string array. Another huge change that we can notice here is that our main function is now wrapped inside this Liferay loader define call. So what this does? This adds support to Liferay AMD loader, which is the native JavaScript module loader for DXP. And once we load our page with our widget in it, the loader will know how to load and cache all our files and dependencies, so they are loaded only once. Okay, that's technical stuff. We have a better understanding of what happens to our project. Let's start adding our changes. So we copy everything we had before with our previous app, and we place our component here inside the main function. And notice that we are using the portlet element ID as the selector where we will render our component. And we are also passing this configuration property that we will use later. So at this point, we have pretty much the same we had before with adapt. If we deploy the project, we will see the same thing. But we need to add more features like localization. So here we have our app on DXP, which you configure to be on Spanish. But notice that this help text on the top right is still in English. So how can we translate that? To do that, we need to change all our hard-coded text messages with Liferay language get and provide a language key. We then put this language key and the corresponding value to this language.properties file that was also auto-generated for us. We can also supply all our supported languages and a Microsoft translator key. So when we run npm run translate, all the translations will be automatically generated for us. Okay, so now we can change our code from the hard code text message with our language get method and the language key. And if we deploy it, we now see that the text is also localized. Awesome. But let's move to the important part for us. The boss asked us to make the app configurable, so we can choose which spaceship we show on the widget, and we need to place multiple widgets on the same page. So configuration is something that DXP does for every widget. We just need to tell it what we want to configure. And we do that by editing this configuration JSON file that was also auto-generated. And here we can specify 2 types of configuration: system settings and portlet instance. So system configurations are shared between all our widget instances across all our sites on our DXP installation. And for our app, we decided to make the points color configurable, maybe to fit with some brands color. And we do that by defining a new object here, and we give it a type, a name, and a default value. This is the blue color we were using. We also need to change our code to use this value. Remember that configuration property that we pass it to our app, that's where we have access to these values. So we access with configuration.system.pointscolor, pass it to the spaceship component, it will take care of changing the color for us. So if we deploy the app, we will see that the colors are still blue. To change that, we need to go to Control Panel, Configuration, System Settings. We will have a new category here with the name of our project. We change the color to a red one, save it, and if we go back to the page, color changed. Okay. So now we still have to be able to specify which spaceship we need to show. And to do that, we will create a new configuration on portlet instance, named content key. We change our code the same way we did for system configuration, but now with configuration.portletInstance.content key. And if we deploy the app, we will see that it will show nothing. We go to the widget session, search for it, add one to the page, and it will show blank. We need to configure it. So now we give a content key, save it, and here we have our spaceship. Let's add another one. Configure with a different content key. And yes, now we have a configurable widget. The boss is so happy, he gave us the rest of the day off. Okay, so these are just two of the features that we can use on our component without having to worry about any non-front-end stuff. The Liferay js-toolkit provides front-end developers the tools they need to build amazing apps and components in the most efficient way while still using the full power of DXP.
So we don't need to forget that just using our application as widgets on DXP, we have all the power DXP provides, like permissions, authentication, all this configuration and localization stuff. So the idea is to provide the tools, to give the tools to the front-end developers to focus in what they know to do, that is creating these amazing components, and to deliver more value to the company, because they will be happier, and they will create better components. The idea, in the end, is that they can switch, as I did, from this no hope, this will all end in tears, to maybe hope, this will all end in React. So long, and thanks for all the fish.